Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram
Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram Hare
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hare
Hare, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Padma from Virginia, welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sangha conference call. I thank all of you for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy names which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in the Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting of Hare Krishna to be in imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning? Hare Krishna.
Hare
हरे कृष्ण
Krishna
माता जी
Padma
दंडवत
Mata
प्रणाम।
Ji Dandavat Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki jai Guru Maharaj ki jai Preetidasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shanya.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। दिस इज अरविंद दास फ्रॉम शिकागो। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksh Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा पद्मा माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। शील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। दिस इज श्यामा गौरी देवी दासी फ्रॉम शार्लेट।
Hare Krishna, Shyama Gauri Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. My Dandavat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Shushmita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj Ji. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Raleigh.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Virita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
We
Krishna
would like to.
Mataji. Akshar Das from Canada. Thank you all for your kind association. All glories to Sri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Harsha Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha call, conference call. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Harshad Prabhu, Hari Parshad Prabhu ji for enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 7th chapter, 51 and 52 verses. Before giving the call to Prabhu ji, I would like to hand over the call to Balabhadra Prabhu ji to give brief introduction about Hari Parshad Prabhu ji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu. All glories to Prabhupada. Please take over the call, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, then pranam to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you, Mataji. So we have our very dear speaker, His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhuji. Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Radhana Govind Goswami Maharaj and joined ISKCON in 2002. He was born in a God Saraswata Brahman family in Mumbai. His father and grandfather are both devotees of Sri Sri Rukmani Vitthal of Pandharpur. Dear Hari Parshad Prabhu learned Sanskrit in the traditional way in his childhood and was taught the Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi of Pandit Varadaraj. Between 2002 and 2007, he served as a book distributor and organized programs and seminars for ISKCON youth in Juhu. He has also written Sanskrit verses in Chitra Kavya style. In 2007, Hari Parshad Prabhu was appointed assistant editor of Gopalaji Publications. Prabhu is an accomplished Sanskrit scholar, having studied the Ashtadhyayi, the complete 4,000 sutras by Panini, and completing a translation of Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Siksha in 2015. He currently compiles a fortnightly e-magazine called Shri Krishna Kathamrita Bindu, where he regularly contributes fresh translations and articles. He holds a master degree in information technology, graduating with distinction from the Manipal University in 2012. He is married with a son. Hari Parshad Prabhu has been a member of the Shastrik Advisory Council since 2016. And Prabhu has so many other services which are not included here, dear devotees. A very good speaker. We're very fortunate to have Prabhu on the line. My dandavats to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for coming on the call today, this morning, and enlightening the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Please take over the call, Prabhu. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. You're not audible, Prabhu. I don't know if it is muted or something.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
now audible, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Now not audible, Prabhu, again.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me now? Yeah?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Thank you so much, Balabhadra Kripa Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji, for kindly introducing me and welcoming me here to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference. I'm very grateful that I've been invited here to speak something on Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 7th chapter, verse number 51 and 52. I'll quickly perform Mangalacharan and then we'll begin today's subject matter. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। Dear devotees, thank you once again for kindly being present here. I am speaking from Charlotte in the United States. I am at the wonderful home of Sureshwar Shyam Prabhu and Sandini Radhika Mataji, who have kindly hosted me at their place. I am grateful to them. And today I will be trying to speak something upon Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 7th chapter, text 51 to 52. The verses are in front of all of us. You can see on the screen. नालं द्विजत्वं देवत्वं मृषत्वं वासुरात्मजा प्रीणनाय मुकुन्दस्य न वृत्तं न बहुज्ञता न दानं न तपोनिज्या न शौचं न व्रतानि च प्रीयते मलया भक्त्या हरिरन्यद्विडम्बनम्। Synonyms: na, not; alam, sufficient; vijatvam, being a perfect, highly qualified brahmana; devatvam, being a demigod; prashitvam, being a saintly person; va, or asura atmajah, or descendants of asuras; prinanaya, for pleasing; mukundasya, of mukunda, the supreme personality of Godhead; na vrittam, not good conduct; na, not bahugyata, vast learning; na, neither danam, charity; na tapah, no austerity; na, nor ijya, worship; na, nor shaucham, cleanliness; na vratani, nor execution of great vows; cha, also; priyate, is satisfied; amalaya, by spotless; bhaktya, devotional service; hari, the supreme lord; anyat, other things; vidambanam, only show. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: My dear friends, O sons of the demons, you cannot please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by becoming perfect Brahmanas, demigods, or great saints, or by becoming perfectly good in etiquette or vast learning. None of these qualifications can awaken the pleasure of the Lord. Nor by charity, austerity, sacrifice, cleanliness, or vows can one satisfy the Lord. The Lord is pleased only if one has unflinching, unalloyed devotion to Him. Without sincere devotional service, everything is simply a show. Purport: Prahlad Maharaj concludes that one can become perfect by serving the Supreme Lord sincerely by all means. Material elevation to life as a Brahmana, demigod, Rishi, and so on are not causes for developing love of Godhead. But if one sincerely engages in the service of the Lord, his Krishna consciousness is complete. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9 chapter verse 30. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhav sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. To develop unalloyed love for Krishna is the perfection of life. Other processes may be helpful, but if one does not develop his love for Krishna, these other processes are simply a waste of time. Dharma svanushtitah punsam vishvaksena kathasu yah notpadaye yajyatim shama eva hi kevalam. Duties, dharma executed by men regardless of occupation, are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.8. The test of perfection is one's unalloyed devotion to the Lord. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So this was the verse 7.7.51, 7.7.52. Dear devotees, I'll once again share my screen and I'll try to explain the verse once again so that we understand what is going on. Dear devotees, Sri Prahlad Maharaj is saying, now Alam is giving an instruction to his schoolmates, the sons of the Asuras. Therefore, he is saying, Asura Atmaja, O sons of Asuras. The devotees, Asuras are usually attached to material life, and even when they perform bhakti, their performance of bhakti more or less is vidambanam, a show, because they perform bhakti with the desire of putting up a show in front of society so that bhakti can be exchanged, their bhakti can be exchanged for gaining some sort of material or social benefit. Prahlad Maharaj wants to tell these boys that this is not how Bhagavan is supposed to be pleased. He says, Asura Atmaja, O sons of Asuras, Dvijatvam na alam. Dvija refers to, their devotees, twice born. There are three Dvijas. One is Brahmana, one is Kshatriya, one is Vaishya. All of these are known as Dvijas. So, Dvijatvam, becoming a twice born, na alam, is not capable of giving pleasure, Prinanaya, Mukundasya, to Mukunda. Because if only Dvijas, if only birth was the source of giving pleasure, then there are many who are not born as Dvijas. For example, Vidura, but they have given immense pleasure to Bhagavan. So Dvijatvam, we can't list Dvijatva, becoming born as a Brahmana, a Kshatriya or Vaishya, as being the cause of pleasure to Bhagavan. Dear devotees, Prahlad Maharaj is emphasizing, because even amongst demons, even amongst Asuras, there are Dvijas, there are Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas. Ravan himself was an Asura, but he was also a Brahmana. So, some of the Asura boys may be thinking, we are already born in Brahminical families, Kshatriya families, we are already elevated by birth. Why will Vishnu not be pleased with us? He will be pleased simply by our birth. So you cannot use birth as a currency and get in exchange the pleasure of Bhagavan. No. Then some of the Asura boys may think, all right, maybe we are Asuras, therefore we are disqualified because we have heard that Bhagavan always takes sides with the Devatas. So Prahlad Maharaj says, Devatvam. Don't think that becoming a Devata is the cause of giving pleasure to Mukunda. Don't think. Because there are many Asuras such as Bali Maharaj with whom Bhagavan has become pleased. He was not born in Devata Kul. He was not born as a Devata. He was born in Asura Vamsha. He was born in the dynasty of the Asuras. So simply by becoming a Deva, a Devata, it is not the cause of giving pleasure to Mukunda. Then he says, Rishitvam Vad. Some of the Asura boys may be thinking, well, we think Bhagavan just sometimes takes sides with the demons, sometimes with the Devatas. Actually, he benefits only the sages, such as Narada, etc. But don't think that simply by becoming a rishi or being a sage, we will give pleasure to Bhagavan. There are many rishis who were not able to give pleasure to Bhagavan and who were absorbed in their own desires for sense gratification or liberation. For example, Saubhari, when he was performing tapasya underwater, he was rishi. There are many rishis. What is the meaning of rishi? Rishati, prapnoti, sansara, param, jnanena, iti rishi. There is a Sanskrit verbal root, rish. Rishi gatau. So the verbal root rish means to travel, to go. Rishi, he goes. Where does he go? Samsara param, on the other side of the material world. Jnanena, by his knowledge. Therefore, he is known as rishi. So somebody who is able to attain liberation by their knowledge can be called as rishi. Or by their austerity, they can be called as rishi. But attaining liberation is not, the cause of pleasing Mukunda. These rishis, becoming a rishi is not necessarily the cause of giving pleasure to Mukunda. Then some of the Asura boys may be thinking, maybe good behavior, worship your parents, worship your, motherland, worship, display good behavior all the time. Na vrittam, neither is good behavior the cause of pleasing Bhagavan Mukunda. No. So does it mean that we should not behave properly? Of course we should behave properly. But simply behaving properly is not the cause of pleasing Bhagavan. In India, many people say often, unless you worship your parents, how can your worship of Bhagavan be successful? This misconception is propagated many times. Dear devotees, na vrittam, there are many people who have given up their parents and worship Bhagavan and pleased Bhagavan. For example, Maharaj Bharat, he gave up his mother and he went to the forest and he had attained the stage of bhava. Na vrittam, good behavior by itself is not the cause of pleasure of Bhagavan. Na bahugyata. Now, somebody may think, some Asura boy may think, bahugyata, one should be very learned in various fields of knowledge. Then he will please Bhagavan. So that is also not the case, because many such as Gajendra did not have knowledge of many fields. Yet they please Bhagavan. Na danam. Now, some people think that dan or giving charity is the cause of pleasure of Bhagavan. But those who could not give any charity, they also managed to please Bhagavan. For example, Sudama, he could not give any major charity to Bhagavan, but he pleased Bhagavan. Na tapaha, nor austerity. It's not that simply by performing tapasya, surrounding yourself by pancha agni, 5 fires in the hot summer under the sun. And there is one sort of austerity, panchagni, that you surround yourself with 5 fires under the sun in the summer season. This tapasya is not the cause of pleasure of Bhagavan. Na ijya, nor yagyas, nor performing elaborate yagyas, and na shaucham. Some people may think cleanliness, but Prahlad Maharaj says not cleanliness, because many unclean people have also given pleasure to Bhagavan. Na cha vratani, nor following various vows. Some people think unless you follow this vow, unless you perform this austerity, this vow you will please. You will not be able to please. So dear devotees, na cha vratani, nor following various vows. Hari is pleased, Priyate is pleased, Amalaya Bhaktya, only by Amala Bhakti, only by spotless Bhakti. Anyat, everything else, Vidambanam, is a mere show. Devotees, everything else is a mere show. So Maharaj Prahlad is saying this to the boys of the Asuras because Maharaj Prahlad knows Asuras have the tendency of making a big show out of everything, including Bhakti. They feel that Asuras have this feeling sometimes that unless you do it on a grand scale and make a big show out of it, your Bhakti is not successful. And big show is made by doing all these things. By being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, by being a Rishi, by good behavior, you can make a show of good behavior, you can make a show of knowledge, you can make a show of charity, you can make a show of austerity, you can make a show of yajna, you can make a show of cleanliness, or you can make a show of performing various vows. But none of this pleases Bhagavan. Vidambanam. Actually, it is all for the purpose of making a big show. Dear devotees, the previous acharyas also comment on this particular section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I am sharing my screen here, so you can see what Srila Sridhar Swami says. Priyate Amalaya Bhaktya. Bhagwan is pleased by Amala Bhakti. Srila Sridhar Swami says Amalaya Nishkamaya, which means bhakti without any desires. What are the desires, dear devotees? There are four main desires: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So, without any desire for sense gratification and without any desire even for liberation, the desire to go back home, back to Godhead, is also rejected in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Nishkamaya. So, Priyate, Bhagavan is pleased when we approach him without any ulterior motives. Sridhar Swami says, Anyad Vidambanam Natana Matram. Anyad, everything else is Vidambanam. Vidambanam is translated as Natana Matram, only a grand show on a stage. Sri Sanatana Goswami also comments on the same verses in Hari Bhakti Vilas, 11th chapter. These verses are quoted at 590 and 591 in Hari Bhakti Vilas, 11th chapter. Sri Sanatana Goswami says, Hey Asuratmaja, O sons of demons, that is what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Devatmadikam mukundasya prinanaya nalam na samartham. All these things are not capable of giving pleasure to Mukunda. What does vrittam mean? Vrittam means sadachar. Good behavior is also not sufficient. Amalaya nishkamaya vishuddhayava. Amala bhakti gives pleasure to Bhagavan. What is Amala bhakti? Nishkam bhakti. Bhakti without any ulterior desires. Vishuddha bhakti, or bhakti which is purified by repeated practice. Vidambanam, natana matram, natu tatvikam. And all other forms of bhakti are natana matram, vidambanam. They are merely show, natu tatvikam. They are not actually bhakti. Sri Jiva Goswami in the Karma Sandarbha says, Nalam iti yugmakam. These are two verses, take them together. But in Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami explains in great detail. The devotee is very important to hear what Sri Jiva Goswami explains in Bhakti Sandarbha. Amalaya Nishkama. Actually, Bhakti should be Nishkam, without any ulterior motives. Otherwise, it becomes Vidambanam, Natana Matram. It becomes merely a dramatical performance on a stage. Ataha, therefore, Jiva Goswami says, Sakama Bhaktasyapi Bhakter Natana Matram natana matra tatparyena bhakti anukarana matratva. Atah he says, therefore, sakama bhaktasya api bhakte. The devotee who is sakam, who is full of material desires, his bhakti also, natana matra tatparyena, is nothing but a mere show. And it is bhakti anukarana matratva. He is just making a show of bhakti, anukarana of bhakti. He is not actually performing bhakti. Then he says, yatha paresham api natanam kvachit tad anukaranam tathaiva iti. Yatha paresham api natanam. For example, you see on in a dramatical performance, somebody is imitating the actions of Bhagavan Ram. Dear devotees, does it mean that the actor on the stage is actually Bhagavan Ram? No, he is not Bhagavan, but he is imitating. Paresham natanam. He is imitating Bhagavan Ram. Because he is imitating Bhagavan Ram, therefore he appears as Ram. And some people may look at that Bhagavan Ram on the stage and start crying and say, oh my goodness, what a great, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Paresham api natanam. In India, there was a television serial on Ramayana. And the actor who portrayed the roles of Ram and Sita, wherever they go in India, people start worshipping them. And then often the actors have to tell them, well, please know that we also have some, defects in our life. We are not perfect like Ram and Sita. But you are worshipping us, but we just played the role of Ram and Sita. So dear devotees, just yatha paresham api natanam. Just as an actor on a stage may imitate Bhagwan Ram, but doesn't mean that you take him to be Bhagwan Ram. Similarly, a person who is full of material desires may imitate activities of bhakti, but one should not take it to be actual execution. So Sri Jiva Goswami explains. Tatra sakamatvam. Now what is the meaning of the statement that the devotee is full of desire, sakam? Jiva Goswami says, aihikam paralaukikam cha iti vidham. Desires are of two types. Aihikam, desires in this material world. What are the desires in this material world? By bhakti, I will make a show of dharma. I will make a show of becoming a brahmana, or I will make the show of becoming a Vaishnava, very clean in habits, etc. And by this, I will attain pratishtha. I will attain good prestige in the society. This is aihikam, in this life. Or by bhakti, I will get many new connections and then I will increase my business and then I will become known as a great charitable person. Aihikam. Or by bhakti, I will earn much more money because in the material world outside, I could not attain success. So in the domain of bhakti, at least I can attain success and earn money. Aihikam. In this world. This is sakamatva, desires in this world. Paralaukikam, desires in the next world. I will get liberated and go back to Godhead, or I will get liberated and go to a higher heavenly planet. Paralaukikam. Iti dvividam, these are both sakamatva, both desires. Tat sarvam eva nishidhyate. Both these are rejected, prohibited. When Shri Nagapatni Vachanadav, in the prayers of the Nagapatnis. The Nagapatni says, Na Parameshyam, Na Mahindradeshyam. That we don't want the abode of Brahma. We don't want the abode of Indra. We don't want any of these. Ityadina. Then somebody may raise a doubt. Array, but we have heard in ninth canto, there was a person named Prashadra. Prashadra appears in ninth canto, second chapter. Prashadra is cursed by his guru Vasishtha because he accidentally kills a cow instead of killing the wild animal who had entered in the cowshed. So he gets a curse from Vasishtha. Prashadra, it is said that he became a kanti, he became one-pointed. Now Prashadra was aiming for liberation. It is specified in the ninth canto, second chapter. Prishadra was aiming for liberation. But why is he mentioned as Ekanti, one-pointed devotee? So this means attaining moksha is also permissible in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sri Jiva Goswami says, no. Vaivasvata manuputrasya prishadrasya tu mumukshoropi ekantitva vyapadesho gauna eva bodhavya. He says Prishadra may be termed as Ekanti in the 9th canto, 2nd chapter. But Gauna eva bodhavya. This Ekantitva vyapadesho is being addressed as Ekanti, one-pointed, should not be taken as his main character. Actually, it is just for the sake of saying it. He is termed as Ekanti, one-pointed, but actually speaking, he was not one-pointed devotee. He was one-pointed liberationist. He wanted to attain liberation from the material world. Bhakti is beyond liberation and going back to Godhead. Dear devotees. Then Jiva Goswami quotes further Praman. He quotes 7.10.2 of Srimad Bhagavatam to prove this point. Where Prahlad Maharaj is saying to Narsimhadev, Mam pralobhayotpatya saktam kamaishu tayavara. I am very afraid of these, benedictions you are offering me. Saktam kamaishu. I am attached to material desires. Tat sanga bhito nirvino mumukshastvam upashritaha. Are, here also Prahlad Maharaj is saying nirvino mumukshu. I am a mumukshu. I desire liberation. So isn't the desire for liberation approved in the Srimad Bhagavatam? So Sri Jiva Goswami says no. Ityatra Shri Prahlad Vakya. In these words of Prahlad, mumuksha tu kama tyaga ichha eva. When he's saying I want liberation, he's saying I want liberation from my material desires. He's not saying I want liberation from the material world and I want to go back to God. No. And he proves this by giving a point. Yadi dasyasi me kaman varam stvam varadarshava kamanam ridya samroham bhavatastu vrine varam. Oh, Bhagwan Narsimhadev, Prahlad Maharaj later prayed after 5 verses. If you want to give me any benediction, give me the benediction that within the core of my heart, no material desire should ever arise. Dear devotees, Prahlad Maharaj also rejects the desire for mumuksha, the desire for liberation. So he says, then he quotes another, Bhakti yogasya tat sarvam antaraya tayar. Bhakti yoga, for Bhakti yoga, everything else, all material desires, including the desire to get liberated, is antaraya, is merely an obstacle. Iti Shri Naradena praguktatvacha. It is already been specified previously. Acha, but didn't Ambarish Maharaj, etc., perform yajna, so much charity, etc.? And isn't Ambarish Maharaj a pure devotee? So people put up 100 types of questions like this. So Jiva Goswami says, Evam Srimad Ambarishasya yajna vidhanam api loka sangraharthakam eva gyayam. Ambarish was performing yajnas because he is a Kshatriya and a Kshatriya is supposed to perform yajna as family duty. His main way of pleasing Bhagwan was not yajnas. His main way of pleasing Bhagwan was Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Varnanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Tam Uddishya api Ekanta Bhakti Bhavena Uktam Asti. Therefore, it is said in 9th canto for Ambarish Maharaj that Bhagwan sent his Sudarshan Chakra because Ambarish was Ekanta Bhakti Bhav. He was worshipping Bhagwan with one-pointed bhakti. This yajna he was just doing as a family duty. He was not considering yajna as a means to please Bhagwan. Then Jiva Goswami says, Tatra cha aihikam nishkamatvam bhaktya jivika prati shtha adi uparjanam yat tat abhavamayam api bodhavyam. So nishkamatvam in this world, to be free of desires in this world, means bhaktya jivika pratishtha adi uparjanam. To use bhakti for the sake of jivika, to make bhakti as an occupation, which means I will perform bhakti only if you pay me some money. Otherwise, I will not perform it. This, dear devotees, is not the nature of a Brahmana. A Brahmana means whether somebody gives something or somebody doesn't give something. Dear devotees, Jivika, they have not turned it into Ajivika. They have not turned it into a profession. And Pratishtha Adi, they have not turned bhakti into a means for gaining social credit and social popularity. That look at me, how famous I am. Uparjanam, tad abhavamayam. Actually, to be free of all desires means to not make bhakti a source of livelihood and to not make bhakti a source of increasing one's social prestige. Vishnum yo no upajivati iti Garude Shuddha Bhakta Lakshana. In the Garud Puran, it is specified. Vishnum yo na upajivati. One who does not turn Vishnu into a source of livelihood is actually a pure devotee. Dear devotees, then he quotes, Jiva Goswami quotes a very important verse from 7th canto. Mauna vrata shruta trapo Mauna vrata shruta tapodhyayana swadharma व्याख्या रहो जप समाधय आप वर्ग्या प्रायः परम पुरुषते परितेन्द्रियाणां वार्ता भवन्ति तनवात्र दुताम्बिकानाम्. All these mauna, vrata, shruta, tapa, adhyayan, swadharma, vyakhya, raho, japa. You can take mauna, brahmacharya, reading shastra, acquiring knowledge, tapasya, self-study, following one's own dharma, explaining shastra, staying in a solitary place, or performing japa and trying to show samadhi. These are all actually apavargya. They are all for liberation. But ajitendriyanam, those who don't have their senses in control, for them, they become ajivika. They become varta. Varta means they become source of livelihood. And for dambhikanam, those who are very proud, they don't even want to show it as, they don't even want to use it as a source of livelihood. They just want to use it as a source of prestige to show that I am a great devotee. In 7946 is putting Iti Sri Prahlad Vakyavat. So, Maunadaya eva ajitendriyanam varta jivanopaya bhavanti. All these are mainly used by people for earning livelihood. Dambikanam tu varta pibhavanti nava. Those who are very proud, they don't even earn livelihood, they just make a show to increase their social prestige. Atta evoktam, thus the conclusion. Aradhanam bhagavata ihamana nirashisha. Is quoting 6th canto. Ye tu nechanti api param te swartha kushalasmi. Who are swartha kushala, who are the most intelligent people. Aradhanam bhagavata, those who perform worship of Bhagavan. Ihamana nirashisha, but they don't want any ashisha, don't want any material desires. Ye tu na icchanti api param, those who don't even want liberation. They swartha kushala, they are the most intelligent. Sridhar Swami says param moksham api, they don't want param, they don't want even liberation. Tasmat sadhu uktam, therefore Prahlad said correctly, nalam dvijatvam. He said this verse, all of these are not sources for pleasing Bhagavan. All of these are sources for either making one's livelihood or for attaining social prestige. But these are not sources of pleasing Bhagavan. Bhagavan is pleased when we drop all desires from our side, all motivations from our side. That is the only way Bhagavan is pleased. Anyad vidambanam. No matter how much we think we will fool Bhagavan, it will, in the end, it will lead to vidambanam. It will lead to just a big show in front of Bhagwan, and Bhagwan can easily detect when somebody is making a show. And because Bhagwan is situated right there within the hearts, before we utter a sentence from our mouth, the sentence first appears in the heart. And before the sentence appears in the heart, Bhagwan already knows what sentences we are speaking and what we are not speaking. Also, Bhagwan knows. Dear devotees, Bhagwan understands all shades of meanings of every word activity that we are performing. So, Vidambanam, let's not perform bhakti for the sake of first earning a livelihood. We should have our own livelihood independent of bhakti. We should not become fully dependent on bhakti for earning a livelihood. So we should have our livelihood independent of bhakti if we are a householder. And if we don't want to earn, then we should take to another ashram, such as Vanaprastha, Sannyas, etc., where you are not required to earn. But even in those ashrams, one should not use bhakti as a means of livelihood. And secondly, one should not use bhakti as a means of vidambana, making a big show. Look at me, I am silver donor, I am gold donor, I am platinum donor, I am diamond donor, I am, there are many levels of donations that you can give to various projects. But donations are ideally given privately, dear devotees, without making a show. Why? In the 11th canto, Bhagavan will say to Uddhava, Kritasya parikirtanam. I will show this particular verse. This is 11.11, point 34 to 40. Amanitvam adambhitvam kritasya aparikirtanam. Kritasya, whatever activity you have performed, aparikirtanam, not advertising that activity, is one of the characteristics of a devotee. Why? Because dharma ksharati kirtanat. Dharma is lost by advertisement. There is a sutra. Dharma ksharati kirtanat. One loses one's piety by performing kirtan, by loudly publicizing one's charity, etc. to others. Dharma ksharati kirtanat. Therefore, kritasya aparikirtanam. Don't make a big show of the charity one is doing. Whatever one is doing, sometimes we have to do prachar. Prachar means we have to speak in front of a big audience. So we should speak what is there in the Shastra. But we should not have the expectation that after we speak, somebody will give us something nice, and for that purpose we are speaking. And let's say somebody invites and they don't give anything. That's not okay. Our purpose was to explain the path of bhakti. Whether somebody gives something or somebody doesn't give something, that is not the reason for performing the devotees. And it should not also be done for social prestige. I will only speak if there are at least 1,000 people in the audience. No, if there are 5 people or 4 people, also we should be able to speak. Why? Because even amongst 5 people, there may be a person who is willing to listen nicely. There may be a person who is willing to receive bhakti. Just because he is not present in a big mass, does it mean they don't deserve to get bhakti? But some people have this attitude. I will only perform bhakti if it increases my social credit. This, dear devotees, is not the way of performing, not the way of pleasing Bhagavan. Vidambanam. Unless we get free of these desires, it is not possible for us to truly please Bhagavan, no matter how big of how wealthy we may be and how much social prestige we may have, no matter which ashram we may have, no matter whether we are brahmanas or anything like that. That is, Bhagavan will detect any trace of um, uh, deceit within our hearts. Finally, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Prinanaya nalamna samartham. Such bhakti is not capable of pleasing Bhagavan. Vidambanam pumsa prakyuta tiraskara karanam. On the other hand, sometimes it becomes tiraskar karan. It becomes a cause of displeasing Bhagavan. It becomes an insult to Bhagavan, tiraskar to Bhagavan. So such sort of bhakti. So dear devotees, one should not perform such sort of bhakti. One should perform bhakti only for the sake of pleasing Bhagavan, not even for the sake of attaining liberation. What to speak of attaining material desires. So this is the sum and substance of these two verses as explained by various acharyas. So we have seen various points of view. And then I'd like to pause at this particular point of time. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvamsah puyantu tad yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad gurorevam yadatra skalitam kinchit. Is there any mistakes that I made in speaking? Vidvamsah, your learned devotees, purayantu tad. Please correct any mistakes. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit, but if there's anything nice in what I spoke, please know. Tad guroreva, everything came from my Guru Jana, Sri Sridhar Swami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Jeev Goswami, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti. 4 commentaries were translated. And so it belongs to my Guru Jana's main end. It doesn't belong to me. Alright, thank you very much, dear devotees. Jai Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anantapati Vaishnav ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanwad. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Very beautiful class, Prabhuji. I liked how you divided every single word and you were giving example for every single word, how Krishna can be pleased and how sometime we make a show of our bhakti. I think this happens to many of us when we are new to, and then because of mercy of other devotees, we only understand that our position is actually das, dasanudasa only. So das, what has to show is nothing. So very, very beautiful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are already 2 hands raised. With your permission, Prabhu, we can go to the question answer session.
Sure, we can have a few questions. At the same time, we have to leave at what time? So we have to leave at around 8:30. So before that, we'll try to wind up queries. Okay, Prabhu?
So what is time at your place, Prabhu, right now?
8:04. So we have almost 15 minutes for queries.
I think we have enough time, Prabhu. Yes, there is another 20 minutes still, kind of. So we'll maybe take a few questions and then we'll go with Preeti Vilasini Mataji. Dandava Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Dandavats. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. What a great fortune to be hearing from you today. We are very, very blessed. Thank you for coming on the call. Prabhu, I did have a question, and this was about the case of Prashadra. My question is, thank you for giving the perspective of Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary and telling us that he was actually a candidate for impersonal liberation. When we analyze the case of Prashadra as per the Bhagavatam book, there is a mention that Prashadra, of course, though he was cursed by his spiritual master to become a Shudra in his next birth, still by the power of devotion, he went to the point of getting liberated. So now that he was actually aiming for an impersonal liberation, my question is, even the power of jnana or aiming for impersonal liberation has the power to alter a curse of a spiritual master. Is that correct? Is that understanding correct? As much as bhakti has the power, how should we understand this?
Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. Prishadra had an element of bhakti in his practice. And therefore, that element of bhakti is what is the main thing which devoured his upcoming sinful reaction.
Okay.
But that element of bhakti is needed in jnana also. That element of bhakti is needed also in Ashtanga Yoga. Because unless you have bhakti, you cannot properly execute jnana, nor can you properly execute Ashtanga Yoga. Both Ashtanga Yoga and jnana are dependent on bhakti in the beginning as well as in the middle and end. They are dependent on bhakti. Why? Because a person needs to have bhakti, shraddha, in the Guru and the Shastra. Whether they are a jnani or they are Ashtanga Yogi. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha gurav. So before a person begins the path of jnana or Ashtanga Yoga, they need to have bhakti in the Guru. Prishadra also had bhakti in his Guru. He had not said, I reject my Guru. But he wanted to avoid any more uncomfortable situations with his Guru. So he went to the forest and engaged in his practice. He attained impersonal liberation, but there was a there was a good component of bhakti in Guru and bhakti in Shastra and bhakti in Bhagwan in his practice. That is
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very clear. Hare Krishna. Grateful, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Manish Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your lecture. It was an honor to listen to you. I have a high level question about the ahankara, the false ego that actually pitches in whenever you do a good deed. So let's say if I donate something, I have this good thing. I have this thing inside that I have done this good thing. So I want to share it with my family, not publicizes, not post on social media, but to share with my own family. Is that can that be regard, is that publicity as well? Is that somewhere a false ego within me that is pushing me to share it with my family? And if yes, then my another question is, how can I get rid of this false ego and ahankar?
So, if we have performed some charity, we might have a desire to.
Can't hear you, Prabhuji. There's some audio issues, I guess.
It's a little low, Prabhuji, for some reason right now.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
It is audible, Prabhu, but it's very, very low. The volume is very low for some reason.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Now should be better.
Yeah. Prabhuji, thank you.
Yeah. Now it should be better. Okay. So it is specified in the 11th canto, Dharma Ksharati Kirtanat. Dharma is gradually washed away by performing kirtan. Kirtan means you glorify it publicly. You can say to one or two people in privately that I performed this charity or I did this, I did that. Those who are near and dear to you. But kirtana, I will show that particular section of 11th canto where it is specified. I am sharing my screen so that all of us can have a look. This is 11th canto where it is specified by Bhagavan, the various things that a devotee should do. And one of the things that a devotee should do is listed here, Kritasya aparikirtanam. Kritasya aparikirtanam. Parikirtan means all-round publicity. So we are not doing all-round publicity. We are just telling one or two individuals. But that too, if there is a reason for that. If there is no reason, then we may not even tell that. And there is a sutra quoted. I will try to find out if it is quoted here. Other acharyas in the commentary, they quote a sutra, Dharma Ksharati Kirtanat. I will type the sutra here so that this is a sutra quoted by many commentators on this verse. Dharma Ksharati Kirtanat. Dharma is washed away by publicity. So, one should not perform publicity, public glorification of one's private private activities of charity, japa, etc. Ksharati, dharma is washed away. Another example, some people chant japa and then they tell others, today I chanted 32 rounds. Is everybody chanting 32 rounds? Is everybody chanting 64 rounds? I chanted 32 rounds today. Hey Baba, try to understand. Dharma aksharati kirtanat. Dharma is washed away by publicity. But I want to preach to others that others should chant 64. So I am telling. So my motivation is higher. Hey Baba, vidambanam. Don't try to perform. Don't try to make a show of it. Prahlad Maharaj is much more intelligent than all of your preaching tactics. So he has said already, Anyad vidambanam. Don't make a show. You will preach to others, but you will lose everything that you gained. So what is the use of that prachar where you are losing everything that you gain? So therefore, dear devotees, it is very important that one should not perform these activities for the sake of attaining social credit. So that is what I would like to say. I hope that is clear, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very beautifully explained. And thank you for giving all the Shastric references, because Guru Sadhu and Shastra is what we follow. Thank you, Prabhu. Supriya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very good class. Thank you. Thank you so much for this class. I really loved it. Prabhuji, I have two questions. One is related to this topic and one is not related. It's a generic. First, let me ask you related to this topic. We all have a desires. Okay. Most of us have a material desires. Very few of us have spiritual desires. But the thing is that we cannot live without desire. So in order to have this desireless bhakti, how should we total our desires, in what direction, which will help us to be, have a pratihata, a haituki bhakti?
We don't need to do anything separate from bhakti in order to become free of desires. It's not that in order to become free of desires, we need to do something separate, and then after becoming free of desires, we should start working.
No,
We
but
have
how should
desires.
we think, or what should be our internal motivation, so we are not doing anything out of any desire, which may be unconscious also?
What is the motivation in performing bhakti?
Prabhu, your voice is again low for some reason.
Yeah. So the question is, what should be our motivation in performing bhakti?
Not motivation. What should be our intention? See, most of the people I hear, whenever I talk to other devotees, they say, oh, I prayed Lord to give me a child, and I gave a seva, and then I had a child, and all those things. Basically, it comes out of a material desire. So the thing is that when we just discuss that you should not have any kind of a desire, then what kind, there will be some kind of a thought, right? I'm doing this for certain thing.
Now I understood. The only desire should be, Bhagwan, this is for your pleasure, nothing for me.
And then we will have to watch our every action, basically manasa vacha karmana, in that sense, our every action at every moment, whether this action will please Lord or not, isn't it?
We don't have to watch every action, because once there is spontaneous love, when there is prema, for example, when a child is born to parents, they don't watch every action, that whether it is pleasing to the child or not. If spontaneously, this every activity of theirs is for pleasing the child. So when there is genuine love of Bhagwan, we will not need to keep a watch at all points of time.
Got it.
All right.
Okay, Prabhuji, another question, which is not related directly to this topic. Okay, we have 5 kinds of muktis. One of that is a Sayuja Mukti, which is not desired by any devotees. Now, Sayuja Mukti means merging into the Lord's existence. I did not exactly understand why it is not desirable, and what exactly it means merging.
Why it is undesirable and what is the meaning of merging? Yeah. So when a person merges into the impersonal Brahman, they lose their individuality. And then
What does
how
it mean
can they
exactly?
exchange? They start thinking, I am Brahma. I am absolute truth. How can they become a devotee?
But they still have, but when we are at the purest, when any soul, Jivatma, at the purest level, they are still Brahman, isn't it?
They are part and parcel of Brahma.
But still, their quality.
They are not one with Brahma. No? That is the Vaishnava philosophy, is that there is Bheda. There is difference between Brahma and Jiva.
But what I'm saying, when we consider quality wise, we are still at the same level as the God, isn't it?
Even quality wise, our qualities are much more reduced in comparison to Bhagwan's quality.
But still we maintain, when we say Sayujya Mukti, we still maintain um, individuality, and we still maintain at the soul level we are not changed, isn't it?
Yeah, because the soul can never be destroyed and the soul is never created. Therefore, even in Sayujya Mukti, the soul doesn't lose its individuality. Although the soul thinks that I am Brahman, it actually never loses its individuality.
Okay, so that means Sayujya Mukti is just some kind of illusion, we can say. It's not actually a Mukti.
It is Mukti because you are freed from the material misery. It is liberation from material miseries, and it is Mukti because you are not going to come back to the material world. But it is not Mukti in the sense of becoming one with the Supreme Lord.
Mm-hmm. Got it. But once suppose someone gets this kind of a Sayujya Mukti, maybe by some other means, not by devotional service or something like that. Because if the person were already a devotee, he would not ask for Sayujya Mukti, at least theoretically, as far as I understand. So, if suppose someone becomes liberated by Sayujya Mukti, and then he starts a devotional service, what will be his future? Like, does he get another liberation, or he still remains in the Sayujya Mukti?
Once a person has attained Sayujya Mukti, they have attained already their final destination. There is no more performance of bhakti after that because they don't consider themselves separate from Bhagwan at that point of time.
Okay.
Thank you so much. But certainly, I was thinking about your question, and I was thinking about qualities, and I was thinking I can't see this computer screen itself from just a feet of mine without this glasses. So our qualities are very limited, Mataji. And in a couple of hours, we all will go to washroom, and we can't hold ourselves. Our qualities are very minimal. Just to think of a few. But thank you, Mataji. Questions should be there. That's how we are inquiring about God. So, dear devotees, please maybe ask one question to the topic because Prabhu has to leave and there are still a few hands raised and a question in the chat box too. Dear Vishwadeep Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. And Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is that, like, what the bhav that we should maintain when, like, we should not expect anything from bhakti, any seva we are doing in bhakti. So this bhav is very good, but how can we maintain this same bhav in our material also, the same Brahminical nature that we have seen in this verse?
There was some breaking of voice. Did you hear the question, Balabhadra Prabhu?
Vishwadeep Prabhu, you can repeat the question also.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes. Now it's better. Prabhuji. Now it's better.
Prabhuji, I am asking that that we have looked into the verse, and the bhav is very good when we are performing devotional service, and we should not expect anything from it. But, like, how can we maintain this same Brahminical bhav in our material work? Like, I'm clear.
Bhav is not Brahminical bhav. Bhav is independent of Brahmanism. The verse itself says Dvijatva. So this bhav is independent of becoming a Brahman or anything. So this Nirapeksha bhav, the actual term is Nirapeksha bhav. Nirapeksha bhav, this feeling of not expecting anything, how can we maintain in the material world? Is difficult to maintain in the material world. Therefore, material world activities should be carried out according to Loka Sangraha for the purpose of carrying out activities. not by becoming attached to them. But in bhakti, one should maintain nirapekshata, that is, without not having any expectations. In the material world, we may have expectations because it is loka sangraha. It is, we are doing it because it is expected from us by family, society, etc. And they will expect us to have expectations. That we cannot avoid. But in bhakti, we are not supposed to have expectations. So material activities do like Ambarish Maharaj for Loka Sangraha. And bhakti perform without any expectations. Right?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have just one line answer question, a small question. Is Arop Siddha Bhakti is also Natana Matram, or it is not considered that?
Arop Siddha Bhakti is basically you are performing many activities in day-to-day life and you are offering them to Bhagavan. Natana Matram is when you start performing Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. for material desires. Arop Siddha is not related to Shravanam, Kirtanam. Arop Siddha Bhakti is related to other day-to-day normal activities, Laukik Kriya. For example, brushing your teeth, etc. Offer this to Krishna. That is Arop Siddha Bhakti. So that is not spoken of in this verse. This verse is saying when you do your Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. and you are performing it for the sake of material profit or earning prestige, that is Natana Matram. When you are performing limbs of Swarup Siddha Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc., for the purpose of attaining social prestige, etc., that is what is spoken of in this verse. So I hope that clarifies.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Vishnu Prabhu. Shama Gauri Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dhanva Pranam. Shama Gauri Mataji, are you there? Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Yes.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Prabhuji, I was not able to unmute.
It's okay.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all Krishna Shila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, wonderful class. And I'm so sorry I, put you on the spot at the last minute. I asked you to give class last night, but thank you so much for accepting the request and coming on the call, giving your valuable time and association. So Prabhuji, about the charity, you were saying if we tell someone our credits will go down. So Prabhuji, for getting more donation, what we give to people, like if you donate 10,000 rupees, your name will be written on the brick or some, marble, like that. So by doing that, what will happen to their credits, Prabhuji?
You can tell them to write anonymous on the brick.
My
You can tell
grandmother
them,
used to, she was very much believing in Gupta Dan. I want to give Gupta Dan.
that is a very good culture. That is a very good culture. Huh? If somebody is writing your name on a golden brick, you can prefer to say anonymous.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very wonderful class. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji, for asking that beautiful question. Actually, I was thinking, it's true. It's actually very blissful and it's actually very relaxing to your own mind when you do anonymous donation, because that ahankar, that subtle thing, is always there. When your name is there, Balbhadra Kripa Das donated $200,000 to ISKCON Calgary. That subtle, that ahankar will come there. But on the other side, when we see like TOVP, our own association, it's like you donate this and you are, as Prabhuji was saying, platinum donor and all that. So, it just bewildering how that functions, Prabhu, we itself as ISKCON are saying, if you donate this, you are platinum and you're diamond donor and you are, so how we understand that, Prabhuji?
I was not speaking about any specific project. I just telling that many projects have these levels of donations. So what was your query, Prabhuji?
No, no query, Prabhuji. I completely agree on the part of anonymous donations. I think, as I said, even if you donate $5 and it's written somewhere that you have donated this $5, that subtle ahankar that your name is there, And we all know Krishna does not like ahankar at all. Bhakti is should be very in humble mood, as Gauranga Mahaprabhu has told us. So thank you so much, Prabhu. First of all, Prabhu, thanks from all of us, because as Shamagori Mataji said, she just told you at last minute for the class and you accepted the service. So that is the quality of a Vaishnava. And not only that, sorry, Prabhu.
I'm sorry. I was asked yesterday evening. I could not prepare a proper presentation for that reason. Otherwise, I would have prepared a slideshow. But because I was asked yesterday evening, I could not show a slideshow. I just had to show directly as text. I hope devotees will, still take the essence of what was spoken, because it is better to present with a slideshow and show all the references with good font, etc. But I did not have the time to prepare a slideshow, so kindly excuse me for that.
Prabhu. That's what I was saying. You were invited last minute. You still were delivering a beautiful class. So that's awesome, Prabhuji. That's awesome. I did not know that you were invited in last, like yesterday only. Prabhuji, I know you have to leave right now. One hand is still raised, Prabhu. If you have, I don't know, a minute.
Short story, you can take.
Mataji, Jyoti Mataji, please be very short. So Prabhuji can leave later, because he
Hare
is so...
Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you. Prabhuji, my question to you is, if we are performing bhakti and we are not focusing on our desires are for selfish or not, we are just performing for the sake of pleasing, but how we will understand that the desires are not pure? How will we rectify ourselves if we have that contaminated desires? Say we are doing our bhakti without any another intention. So could you please give some tips or to identify how our desires are?
Can't be self-monitors on this path. We need a guru. The guru should hold a proper stick and tell the disciple, stop this. That stick from the guru is enough. Otherwise, if we self-monitor ourselves, then our mind will trick us. We need a good guru who gives a good philosophical beating to the disciple and tells the disciple, stop this. This is not what you're supposed to perform. That is the sort of guru that is needed on this path. Bhakti is not achieved by reading self-help books or by trying to self-monitor oneself. It is achieved when we observe a guru who is already achieved Uttama Bhakti, pure Bhakti. By observing such a guru and emulating the character and behavior of such a guru, we also become of that nature. So it is very much essential that instead of becoming self-correctors, we let the guru and guru's characteristics become the corrector of our practice of bhakti. That is the answer to your query, Mataji.
Eternally grateful to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam to you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So, such a beautiful class. Prabhu, I was always linking many things to the seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. So in Padma Puran, those offenses are we chant them every morning to avoid doing towards the Harinam. So very, very beautiful class, Prabhu. Just amazing. Please come often, Prabhu, to Bhakti Sangha. I know you come in the mid morning classes where I am not there, but yeah, I am here in the Srimad Bhagavatam early morning classes. First, please come, Prabhu. By the mercy of devotees like you, our bhakti can be more stronger and we can be more humble and we can understand what is the real tattva of bhakti. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. So, dear devotees, Prabhu has to leave. Let us pay our obeisances to Prabhuji and all the assembled Vaishnavas on the call. Can everybody...
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitavebhyo pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
नमो नमः हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी राधे राधे
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna Prabhuji,
हरे
Dandavat
राम
Pranam.
हरे
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Gauranga,
Hari Bol.
हरे बोल हरे